What if the struggles you face every day aren't caused by your life, but by the dimension you're perceiving it from? Most people live trapped in 3D, a world of fear, control, and separation. But reality isn't just one layer. It's a frequency field, and you can move through it. Right now, many are waking up into 4D, where thoughts shape experience. And some are stepping into 5D, where unity, love, and instant alignment become real. But how do you know where you are? In this video, you'll learn the hidden signs of each dimension, how to shift frequencies without spiritual bypass, and how to stop looping in outdated timelines. Once you see clearly, you can never go back. Consciousness doesn't evolve by chance. It shifts in structured stages, and each one brings a radically different version of reality. The term dimension isn't about space. It's about perception. Each dimension reflects a level of awareness, not a place you go, but a frequency you tune into. Imagine a radio. All stations exist at once, but the one you hear is the one you're aligned with. Consciousness works the same way. The third dimension, or 3D, is defined by separation. Here, you believe you're just a body in a physical world, moving through linear time. Reality feels fixed. It's ruled by cause and effect. You react to what happens because you think it's all outside of you. This is where most of the world still lives. The fourth dimension, or 4D, is a transitional state. It's when the illusion of separation starts breaking down. You begin to realize your mind has power, that your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs shape your experience. Time becomes more fluid. Intuition strengthens. You see signs, patterns, synchronicities, but you're still carrying the baggage of the lower mind. In 4D, you're aware, but still attached. Then comes 5D, a non-linear, unity-based dimension. In 5D, there's no struggle to manifest. You don't chase reality, you align with it. Everything becomes symbolic, energetic, immediate. You no longer identify as a name or a role, but as consciousness itself. You act from knowing, not fear. You feel guided, not controlled. And you stop needing proof because direct experience becomes your truth. Each dimension has its own laws. In 3D, you're subject to rules. In 4D, you start bending them. In 5D, they dissolve. But here's the key. These dimensions aren't about escaping life. They're about seeing life differently. The world outside may look the same, but how you interpret it transforms everything. These levels also correspond with how you relate to time. In 3D, the past defines the future. You feel stuck, always catching up. In 4D, time is a tool. You sense patterns, you anticipate, you create. In 5D, time collapses. The present becomes all there is, and that's enough. You stop waiting for something to change. You become the change. Think of it like climbing a mountain. 3D is the valley. Dense, heavy, foggy. 4D is the middle, clearer, but still turbulent. 5D is the summit, open, still, free. But here's what most people miss. You can slip between dimensions many times in a single day. Consciousness is fluid. The point isn't to permanently ascend, it's to know where you are and choose with awareness. You'll know you're ready to shift dimensions when the old rules stop making sense. When control starts exhausting you. When chasing safety leaves you empty. When logic alone can't explain the signs appearing all around you. That's not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. Now that you know the structure, let's go deeper. What does life really look like inside each of these dimensions? What are the emotional patterns, hidden beliefs, and energetic clues? Let's begin with the one most people are still caught in, the third dimension. In the third dimension, reality feels solid, limited, and external. You're taught to believe in only what you can see, measure, or control. Life is something that happens to you. Your identity is shaped by circumstances, your past, your labels, your achievements, your failures. In this state, consciousness is fully immersed in survival. The emotional core of 3D is fear, not always dramatic, but constant. Fear of not being enough, fear of failure, fear of loss. Every choice is filtered through this underlying anxiety. Even ambition in 3D is often just fear in disguise, a desperate attempt to secure safety, approval, or control. Time feels linear. You're either regretting the past or worrying about the future. Presence is rare. Peace feels like something you chase, but never quite reach. You believe cause always comes before effect, so you wait for things to change outside before you can feel different inside. This reverses true power. In 3D, you define yourself by comparison. Success means outperforming others. Value is based on status, possessions, or validation. There's a quiet competition running underneath everything, even in relationships. You either feel superior or inferior, but never truly connected. Separation is the default setting. Authority figures play a huge role in 3D consciousness. You outsource your knowing. You're told what is true, what is possible, what is allowed. You may obey or rebel, but both reactions come from the same belief. Someone else has the power. This keeps you locked in dependency or defiance, both of which drain your life force. Emotionally, 3D creates loops. You feel stuck. You try harder. You burn out. Then you feel shame for not being enough. Instead of questioning the system, you blame yourself. The cycle repeats. You seek temporary relief, entertainment, consumption, distraction, but the emptiness always returns. Even spiritual ideas can get hijacked in 3D. People turn awakening into performance. They collect crystals, books, rituals, but nothing changes inside. The ego simply puts on a new costume. In 3D, even truth becomes a product. This is spiritual materialism, where growth is measured, marketed, and compared. The biggest trap of 3D is the belief that suffering is normal, that struggle is necessary, that you must earn worth through pain. But suffering isn't noble. It's a signal that you're out of alignment. In 3D, people often dismiss this. They normalize burnout, chaos, drama. They call it just life, but it's not. It's distortion. You will know you're reoperating in 3D when you feel like life is constantly happening to you, when you're always reacting, when your joy depends on things outside your control, when you're doing everything right but still feel off, like something invisible is draining you. And yet, this dimension serves a purpose. It creates contrast. It shows you what doesn't work. It builds pressure until awakening becomes inevitable. The pain of 3D cracks the illusion. It forces a question. Is this all there is? That question is sacred. It opens the first door out. But leaving 3D isn't about escaping the world. It's about reclaiming your awareness inside it. The next level doesn't come from running away. It comes from seeing clearly. And once you start seeing, you can't unsee. Next, we'll explore the bridge between worlds, the fourth dimension. It's where awakening begins, but also where many get stuck. Let's reveal how it works and how to move through it. The fourth dimension is a shift in perception, not into bliss, but into awareness. In 4D, something breaks open. You begin to question what you once accepted. Patterns appear. Synchronicities start happening. Time softens. The world feels less like a machine and more like a mirror. You realize your inner state shapes your outer experience. This realization is electrifying. Suddenly, you're not just reacting, you're influencing. You start exploring tools, intention, visualization, energy alignment. You notice that thoughts carry power. Beliefs aren't just opinions, they're blueprints. Reality responds, but 4D isn't the destination. It's a threshold, and many get stuck there, cycling in a new kind of trap, not of ignorance, but of overanalysis. In 4D, the ego doesn't vanish. It adapts. It learns spiritual language, adopts healing rituals, and rebrands itself as the seeker. But it still runs the show. You may become obsessed with fixing yourself. Healing turns into a project with no end. There's always one more shadow to process, one more wound to uncover. You start to believe that once you heal everything, then you'll be ready. But this belief creates an endless loop, because healing becomes the identity itself. Growth replaces presence. You're improving constantly, but never arriving. Manifestation becomes a central theme in 4D. You experiment with techniques. You try to attract, align, visualize. And sometimes it works, but not always. When it doesn't, you blame yourself. You think you're not doing it right. You spiral into self-correction, looking for the missing technique, the missing affirmation, the missing frequency. This creates performance spirituality, where you measure your worth by how well you manifest. But true alignment isn't forced, it flows. When you chase manifestation from lack, you amplify the lack. The universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to being. Another trap in 4D is mental overactivity. You start seeing signs everywhere, but without inner stillness, the mind turns them into noise. You begin to interpret everything, looking for hidden meanings. This can become overwhelming. Not every event is a message. Some things are just passing weather. In 4D, discernment is crucial. Emotionally, 4D is unstable. You move between inspiration and frustration. Moments of clarity are followed by confusion. Old patterns resurface, not because you failed, but because you're now conscious of them. You're detoxing illusion, and that process is messy, but it's necessary. The key gift of 4D is awareness. You start observing your own thoughts, your own habits, your own energy. You realize that you are not your mind. You are the one watching it. This distance creates space, and in that space, transformation begins. But to cross 4D, you must stop chasing outcomes. You must shift from doing to being, from seeking to embodying, from trying to fix the self to remembering the self. When you stop trying to escape discomfort and begin sitting with it, presence returns. And with presence comes clarity. You see that the mind doesn't need to solve everything. Some things dissolve the moment you stop resisting them. This is where the bridge opens, not by mastering more techniques, but by relaxing into who you truly are. 4D taught you that you shape reality. Now it's time to meet the version of you who no longer needs to control it. Next, we'll step into the 5th dimension, not as a fantasy, but as a lived frequency. A space where truth is silent, love is natural, and alignment becomes effortless. The 5th dimension isn't an achievement, it's a remembrance. In 5D, you no longer try to become something. You realize you already are. Identity dissolves, but not in a way that erases you, it liberates you. You're no longer the roles you play, the story you tell, or the wounds you carry. You become the observer behind it all. And from that space, life flows without resistance. In 5D, the need to manifest disappears, not because you give up, but because you're no longer out of sync. What aligns with your true frequency begins to appear without effort. Desire is replaced by clarity. Action becomes intuitive. There's no push, no chasing, just choosing. Time shifts completely. The past no longer defines you. The future doesn't control you. You live from the present as if it's the only doorway that ever existed, because it is. Everything you need arises in this now, not later, not someday, now. Emotionally, 5D isn't constant bliss, but peace becomes your baseline. You feel deeply, but without attachment. Even pain, when it comes, is met with compassion instead of resistance. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start seeing, "What is this showing me?" In 5D, you don't fight duality. You dissolve it. Right and wrong lose their rigidity. Everything becomes part of the whole. Light doesn't mean the absence of darkness. It means the ability to include it without fear. You stop labeling your experiences as good or bad. You begin to witness them as energy in motion. This doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. Because from this vantage point, you no longer react, you respond. You no longer seek truth, you express it. And you stop needing permission to exist as you are. The mind quiets. Not because you suppress it, but because awareness takes the lead. You don't argue with your thoughts. You let them come and go, like clouds in a wide sky. You become rooted in being. Your relationships evolve too. In 5D, connection isn't based on need or expectation. It's based on resonance. You attract what matches your state, effortlessly. The drama drops away. The stories fall apart. What remains is presence. Clean, honest, magnetic presence. There's also no pressure to prove anything. You don't have to explain your worth, justify your path, or argue your truth. You embody it. People feel your field before they hear your words. You become a transmission. But it's important to understand, 5D isn't a final destination. It's a frequency, and frequencies shift. You may move in and out of this state. That's normal. That's human. The point is not to hold on to it, but to return to it more easily each time. And how do you know you've touched it? There's a quiet in your soul, a knowing without explanation, a soft strength, a sense of home, not out there, but inside. You stop searching, you stop striving, you just live from alignment. If 4D is the moment you wake up, 5D is the moment you stop struggling to stay awake. You've crossed the threshold. Now you remember the simplicity on the other side of complexity. You remember who you were before the noise. But how do you stay here? How do you shift into this frequency when the world around you pulls you back? That's where we're going next, into the real practices, the real path, and the real inner work. Shifting dimensions isn't about escaping reality. It's about changing how you experience it. You don't force the shift, you align with it. Every dimension is a frequency. The key is resonance. You attract what matches your inner state. So the question is, what are you being right now? The first step is awareness. You have to notice the patterns you're in without judgment. If you're reacting, controlling, or blaming, you're likely in 3D. If you're overanalyzing, chasing growth, or cycling through self-improvement, you're caught in 4D loops. And if you feel peaceful, present, and unattached to outcomes, you're tuning into 5D. Awareness brings choice. But awareness isn't enough without presence. You must return to your body, your breath, and the now. Every shift begins here. Not in theories or ideas, but in this moment. Start with stillness. One deep breath can pull you out of reaction. Silence can dissolve 1,000 illusions. Practice coming back over and over until it becomes your default. Next comes permission. You have to allow yourself to let go of the old dimension. That means releasing identities you've outgrown, beliefs that no longer serve you, and habits that keep you numb. You don't have to fix everything, but you do have to stop feeding what keeps you stuck. This is where many people fall into spiritual bypass. They want to skip the discomfort. They rush to affirm love and light without integrating the shadow. But skipping steps only leads to looping. Real evolution is integration, not avoidance. You must face what's hidden, feel what's repressed, and accept what's been denied. That's how energy moves. That's how dimensions shift. The process is simple, but not always easy. Feel the emotion. Name it. Don't resist it. Breathe through it. Let it move. Let it pass. Your job isn't to suppress the storm. It's to stay conscious within it. That's what builds energetic resilience. One of the most powerful tools you can use is frequency selection. This means choosing your state on purpose, not based on what's happening, but based on who you choose to be. Ask yourself, what would the 5D version of me do right now? How would they respond, speak, or move? Then act from that place, even if it's subtle, even if it's uncomfortable. This process rewires you. Over time, your body stops defaulting to old programs. Your nervous system begins to trust peace. Your energy stabilizes at higher levels. Reality begins to mirror the shift, not instantly, but inevitably. Don't wait for the external to change before you choose a new state. That's 3D logic. Shift first. The outer will follow. Here's a simple practice. Every morning, take 2 minutes. Close your eyes. Imagine the version of you already living in alignment, clear, open, grounded. Feel it. Breathe into it. Speak from it. Then carry that presence into your day. When things challenge you, return to that version again. This isn't pretending. It's choosing from a deeper truth. And remember, you don't shift dimensions once. You shift constantly. It's a dance, not a destination. Some days you'll feel stuck. Others, you'll feel free. Don't make either wrong. Just keep choosing awareness, presence, and resonance. Over time, 5D won't feel like a peak. It'll feel like home. You're not waiting for a new world. You're remembering the part of you that always lived there. You don't need to force your evolution. You just need to become aware of where you are and choose from there. Every moment is a portal. Every reaction is a signal. Every emotion is a doorway. Whether you're navigating the density of 3D, the unraveling of 4D, or the flow of 5D, the path forward is the same: presence, honesty, and alignment. You're not falling behind. You're unfolding. And every shift you make, no matter how small, ripples through your entire reality. If this transmission brought you clarity, peace, or power, share it in the comments below. We read them all. And if you're ready to keep expanding, subscribe to Codex of Amenti. This journey is just beginning.